Good evening, everyone. So, today I am going to paraphrase a very famous poem written by Amrita Pritam entitled To Waris Shah. So, first, I would like to give a brief description about this poet, Amrita Pritam. Amrita Pritam was born in Gujranwala in 1919, and she began writing at an early age, and her first two collections of verse, uh, Thandiyan Kirna, that was translated into English language with title The Cold Rays in 1935, and Amrit Lehra, The Ambodseel Waves in 1936 are sentimental uh, homilies that use conventional motifs and themes. It is only after she came under the influence of Marxism thought and idiom of the progressive writers movement that she began writing social and political poetry. So, one of the important works of this period is Patthar Gite, Gravel Stories. Those were written in 1940, and the poetic stance is one of the protest and self pity. So, in 1947, at the time of the partition, she moved to New Delhi, where she began to write in Hindi as opposed to Punjabi, her mother tongue. The indignities and humiliation resulting from the traumatic violation of womankind during the partition and its aftermath had a powerful impact on her writing. So, Pinjar, that was written in 1970, is a poignant account of this period, with the religious and political conflict becoming a symbol for her feminine concerns. So, this poem today that I am going to recite, and I will do paraphrasing to Waris Shah, that was written in 1949, originally called Aj Akhan Waris Shah Nu, and included in her volume of Punjabi verse. It's a hauntingly beautiful poem addressed to the author of the immortal epic of love, Heer Ranjha. It is a plea for a return to the days of love and brotherhood among the people of the Punjab. Heer Ranjha is a love story and it's a love tragedy, and it is an allegory of the living culture of 18th century. And now I am going to recite the poem. To Waris Shah I turn today. Speak up from the graves midst which you lie. In our book of love, turn the next leaf. When a daughter of the Punjab did cry, you filled pages with songs of lamentation. Today 100 daughters cry, O Waris, to speak to you. O friend of the sorrowing, rise and see your Punjab. Corpses are strewn on the posture, blood runs in the Chenab. Some hand hath mixed poison in our 5 rivers. The rivers in turn irrigated the land. From the rich land have sprouted venomous weeds. How high the red has spread, how much the curse has bled. The poisoned air blew into every wood and turned the flued bamboos into snakes. They first stung the charmers who lost their antidotes, then stung all there came their way. Their lips were bit, fangs everywhere. The poison spread to all the lines. All of the Punjab turned blue. Song was crushed in every throat. Every spinning wheel's thread was snapped. Friends parted from one another. The hum of spinning wheels fell silent. The boats lost their moorings and float rudderless on the stream. The swings on the people's branches have crashed with the people tree, where the windpipe thrilled songs of love. That flute has been lost. Ranjhas and his brothers have lost their art. Blood keeps falling upon the earth, oozing out drop by drop from graves. The queens of love weep in tombs. It seems all people have become cados, thieves of beauty and love. Where should I search out another Waris Shah? Waris Shah, open your grave, write a new page in the book of love. So this is very beautiful poem written by Amrita Pritam, and now I am going to paraphrase this poem. So Amrita Pritam is actually referring that at the time of partition, after partition condition, she says today that I implore Waris Shah to witness the horrors of partition that the people of Punjab is witnessing. So Amrita Pritam is imploring, she is actually requesting Waris Shah that Waris Shah should wake up. Waris Shah should come out of his grave and turn over a page of the book of love. So you write love story. You have written the famous love tragedy called Heer Ranjha, and that book was loved by every inhabitant of Punjab. So today I request you to come up and turn over a few pages and write something about love, so that the people of Punjab get to know the value of real love, honest love. And people of Punjab has previously shown respect to your book Heer Ranjha. So this daughter is Heer when she wept. When a single daughter of Punjab like Heer cried, you wrote an entire book on her suffering. How she suffered. You wrote a book and spread it all over the Punjab. The poet is actually referring to Waris Shah's book Heer Ranjha, and this was based on a girl's suffering. Heer was, but today at the time of partition, millions of daughters are weeping, millions of daughters are crying, they are screaming at the top of their voices. They are leaving their homes. They are homeless. And they are leaving their homes behind and approaching towards uncertainty. There is no surety about their future. So, how it feels to a person. So he says that how it feels to a person who is living, who is abandoning, who abandons his or her home and goes to another place, in an unknown place, as language of different parts of India are totally different. We all know the people who migrated from Punjab to India, basically they spoke variety of languages, including Punjabi, Urdu, Pashto, and many other languages, other kind of languages also. So fundamentally different from Hindi or say other languages. So when a single girl of Punjab cried, when a single girl of Punjab wept, you gave expression to her suffering, you gave expression to her grief, to her mourning, and wrote an entire book. But for today, why don't you come out from your grave and write a book about the suffering of the millions of daughters of Punjab? And now there's one, the next stanza. Arise, O friend of the distressed, see the plight of your Punjab, corpses strewn in the postures, and the chenab has turned crimson. So Waris Shah is a friend of distressed. Waris Shah is a friend of sufferers. Why? Because he rose distressed, and for here he wrote an entire book. Punjab was actually severely affected by partition, and Waris Shah come and see what is going around in Punjab. So what is the plight of your Punjab? You should come out and see this with your own eyes. Here, just notice that dead bodies are lying here and there. Dead bodies are scattered in the green fields, the fields which are not green now, but the whole postures and all the fields of Punjab are now covered with dead bodies, with the corpses. And Punjab has scattered dead bodies into postures where plants are supposed to be grown. And because Punjab was considered now, it was one of the rivers of Punjab is Chenab. Here there is a brief small Chenab has been mentioned in this poem. So etymological, we can say that Punjab is a combination of Punjab means the land of 5 rivers. Okay, Panch plus Aab. Panch means 5 and Aab means river. So it's a country, or it's a land of 5 rivers. So which has turned into crimson, means which has turned into red color because of the blood of the people of Punjab, because of the dead bodies, because that Chenab, that particular river has been, is totally filled with the dead bodies, and that's why the color of the river has turned into red. And then because someone means it has been used for Britishers, because for Britishers or anyone or any enemy who supported partition, and someone has poured poison. Someone has put poison, someone has poured poison into the water of the 5 rivers, as if the situation of the present Punjab is like someone has poisoned the water of 5 rivers. Thus this water is irrigating the farmlands with poison, and now lands, postures don't grow the plants, don't grow the grains, rather they grow dead bodies, hatred among people. So the water is now irrigating the agricultural lands with poison. That's why people are influenced, they are being felt with hatred for each other. The Hindus, the Muslims, the Sikhs, the people belong to different communities. Everyone is filled with hatred for other. And in this fertile land, once Punjab used to be fertile land, because before this partition, Punjab was, Punjab used to be very fertile land and one of the leading states of India. Even today, with huge amount of grains every year produced, and this fertile land have sprouted countless poisonous saplings. So the land which was supposed to produce crops and grains, they are now sprouted with countless poisonous saplings, little plants which are poisonous. So this curse is evident, this curse is clear even in the horizon. The crops that are being cultivated, have become poisonous. There are all, so these are actually, all these are metaphors are used in this poem. So this is metaphorical poison actually, which have entered and which have inflicted the minds of the people of Punjab, and they are now inflicted with hatred, inflicted with jealous for each other, For example, if a Sikh sees a Muslim, then he kills him, and if the vice versa. So because we know that India is a secular country, so different religions, they are residing here collectively. There are so many different religions like Hindu, Sikhs, Parsi, and a variety of religions there. So this is the condition of the present Punjab after the partition. So then he focuses, then Amrita Pritam, she focuses on the winds especially. The wind also has become poisonous. She says that the winds become poisonous. If you go through the history of partition, there had been many riots out at the time of partition. So innocent people were killed during the riots, and it was the motto of any riot: if anyone comes before you, kill him, or if she or he doesn't belong to your community, doesn't belong to your religion. And the wind is again a metaphorical expression used in the poem. So due to poisonous wind, the little shoots of bamboo, they have become like cobras. They have turned into snakes. So these bamboos have taken the shapes of snakes. Then poison is actually associated with the cobra, we all know. And there are these are the passing metaphors about the foreign influence, about the Western influence, about the influence of the Britishers, and the influences that the people of Punjab, of how they were being misdirected by a few political leaders, how a particular community was misdirected, and they were filled with hatred for the other. And there was no otherness at the time of Waris Shah, because when Waris Shah was born, before partition, the Punjab was a very rosy state. The people of Punjab, they used to live happily, collectively, like sisters and brothers. But it all happened after partition, after the death of Waris Shah, in the time of Amrita Pritam, because Amrita Pritam witnessed each and everything, whatever happened during that partition. So she says that a poet is actually referring time and again to Waris Shah, that she wants that state, she wants to see that happy state again, that the time when Waris Shah had the power, because she wants to awake Waris Shah, because she knows that there is only one person, and whose name is Waris Shah. Because Waris Shah had the power to bind into unity the entire state and the entire nation. He had the power. So Waris Shah had the power to sympathize with a single girl, the saga of a single girl who cried and whose suffering is widely spread in Punjab and India as well. And that person is badly recurring at this time of partition, because that person had the power to until all the Punjabis to unite all the Punjabis. Only one person is there, and that person is Waris Shah. So now the antagonists have become powerful. The enemies, the antagonists, the villains, they have become powerful, and they have the power to inflict hatred among the people of Punjab. And the cobras mesmerized the gullible people and beat them again and again. So this is the image how the people of Punjab, of a particular community, were being filled with hatred and hatred for against the other community. So gullible people of Punjab were being misdirected. They were filled with hatred. So if a snake, because we all know what is the what a snake does. So if a snake bites on your limbs again and again, then that particular region, that particular surface of your skin, it will be bluish color, due to poison, due to the impact of poison. So this image or this metaphor, again with this metaphor, she tries to construct that the limbs of Punjab turned into blue due to poison, and that poison has been poured by the Western influence, or you can say that poison has been poured by the Britishers or by the political leaders. And then in next stanza, she says that the songs, that how people before partition from every community lead together, they used to merry making, they used to sing. So there was a very happy, all the people enjoyed happy moments before partition, all the ladies, all every person of every age group, whether a child, a man, a woman, an old age person. So all these things vanished from the streets. And rural spinning wheel is again a very beautiful metaphor, because it symbolizes the conventional or the traditional culture of Punjab. Spinning wheel is a metaphor of rural life of Punjab. So Punjab is a rural agricultural state. This rural spinning wheel actually held by the Punjabi women, so that also vanished from scene. But now there is no spinning wheel after partition. We couldn't see any spinning wheel. We couldn't see those rosy moments which were there before partition. So then she says that the girls who used to sing, and who used to gossips in the Trinjan, actually Trinjan word is used in the poem. So Trinjan is the collective group of ladies or girls who used to sit together in a group, used to sing songs, and to work, to talk. So the spinning wheel also stopped because they had to flee from the land. So then the poet is referring to the newly married couples, and again he used a metaphor of a married couple. Then they had also flee from the state because of the increasingly riots. Because if you stay there, your life is in the stake. No one could have dared to stay there, as everyone from the Sikh and the Hindu communities, they were leaving Punjab due to such cultural crisis. And the Punjab occupied by Pakistan, that fall into the map of the Pakistan. That Punjab basically, if you see the history in the city of Lahore, then the majority of people they led in Lahore, either Hindu or Sikhs, but now Lahore is in Pakistan. So when the map was drawn, then at that time the people who drew the map, they didn't know about who is living there, because so how many people has to be dislocated. So this thing didn't consider at the time of when the map was drawn by the people or by the persons. So they only just randomly drawn a line and said that this is India, this is Pakistan, that's all. And as the time followed, Muhammad Ali Jinnah and with other political leaders, they demanded for the separate country. That's why they had to leave the Hindus and the Sikhs. And then the swing is referred to where children used to play, and swing snapped, disappeared along with the strong branch of the tree. And then the flute is no more there. People no more use the musical instruments they used to play before partition to spread the word of love, affection. Rather this flute is actually replaced by weapons and fire, to destroy each other. Brothers of Ranja means every, here in the last stanza, Kadon word is used. So brothers of Ranja means every Punjabi had forgotten the art of handling this instrument, because Ranja used to play the flute, before partition, because it was the story. So the love tragedy, that was written by Waris Shah. So it all, happened before partition. But so he says that all these musical instruments disappeared totally, a flute especially, and they have forgotten the spread of love. So this flute is actually referred to brotherhood. This flute is actually referred to love, affection, brotherhood, and the strain of love, they had shared together. So this instrument, then the brothers of Punjab, he says that the brothers of Punjab have forgotten, forgotten the blood fall, from heaven, like blood, and blood seeped through the grass. So then he says that valley of love means the valley where once love used to prevail among all kinds of people. Now this muse of love, this goddess of love, is weeping in graveyards. Now there is no love between among people, because only jealous, only hatred, only negativity is filled in the minds of the people. And the villains means the countries are spreading the riots. Love and beauty of this state has robbed by the thieves, by the enemies. Thieves means the corrupt politicians, political leaders. So now the high time, he says, this is the high time we need a man. Now we need such an honest person. We need a man like Waris Shah, who can unite every community of Punjab. So Amrita Pritam requests, and she states that I request Waris Shah to come out and speak and turn over a page of book of love. So as he had written He Ranja, that was a book of love. Similarly, Amrita Pritam is requesting him to write a new book of love, by which the people of Punjab will be reminder of their earlier brotherhood, and they will no more fight like dogs in the post-partition time. So overall, the poem is dedicated to Waris Shah. It is an ode calling him, because the poet wants his presence, the presence of Waris Shah at this moment, because Amrita Pritam is not able to unite the people of Punjab. She says that I am unable to unite. I don't have that power to unite the people of Punjab, which the power which was possessed by Waris Shah. That is not able to. So she says that I am not able to spread love among Punjabis. Thus she thinks only Waris Shah, who can spread the word of love and who can bind the entire state of Punjab into one state by his writing only, because he had done so previously when he wrote the entire love tragedy, that tragedy which was based on the sufferings and the woes of only a single daughter of Punjab, the Punjab, who is Heer. And it was devastated. Both the sides of the continent were horrified, destroyed, ruined. Most importantly, people, because 2 million people died during the Holocaust, and the majority were from Punjab. So the undivided Punjab before the partition. So today she says that I invoke Waris Shah and tell him that you must speak out of your graves today. Wake up wherever you are sleeping, and why you are sleeping in your grave. Don't sleep, Waris Shah. Please wake up. This is not the right time to sleep. You should wake up. In which grave you are sleeping, in which grave, just wake up, and you must speak today. You must speak something today. And let's open another page in the book of love. So you wrote a wonderful magnanimous opus on here, he Ranjha. Today we need another page in this book, and in this way he tries to implore, and she again, requests. She keeps requesting Waris Shah that he should wake up. He should wake up because in the Amrita Pritam's perception, there is only one man. In the entire history of Punjab, there is only one man who can wake up, who can understand the miseries, who can understand the sufferings of the millions of people who had experienced such horrible crisis after during the time of partition. And this is all about the poem. So I think that you enjoyed this poem, because this is very beautiful poem, and this poem is very close to my heart, and it also a very realistic, because why it is realistic, because it gives it connects us with the history of Punjab. We come to know about the historical accounts, what happened during the partition, when in 1947, when at the time of partition. So this is all about poem. So thank you very much for your patience listening. uh, Good evening everyone. Thank you so much.